slip you some boogie, we will it. Yes! For the Fringe FM, coming at you live from the middle of nowhere, the center of everywhere, here once again to give you yet another scrumptious dose of conversational boogie. This is, ladies and gentlemen, Shift Happens. Do follow us on Twitter at Shift Happens Pod. You can follow me, Gigi, over at GGRabbit1. And, hey, what's happening? Everybody in all the chat room things. What is happening? Casper Park's calling us a bunch of heathens. That's all right. I think that's kind of appropriate. Yes. And also joining us, as per usual, is our associate producer, Brad Harris. You can follow him on Twitter at ADS Brad Harris. What's happening, Brad?
What? Heathens. I tell you, we are much more worse than heathens. We are shifters. We're shift heads, actually.
Yeah, you know, we're kind of like...
we're like the bottom of the barrel.
We're
actually beneath the bottom of the barrel. Like that little scum at the bottom beneath the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah, the residue of the scum at the bottom.
On a rainy day. Man, it was a rainy day today.
Absolutely.
It smelled dank out. I like that danky rain smell.
Me too.
Kind of reminds me of that killer weed. Maybe it was like people's weed right now. It's that time of year. Everyone's harvesting.
Yeah.
You know, hats off to all you organic growers out there pulling your weight.
Everybody on the panel just cheers to that specific
or whatever.
Yes.
Oh man, I'm gonna get arrested.
But I would like to think we have a little bit of class, though. You know, we're like heathens with class. You know?
Yeah.
Got a little class. Got a good taste of
we got
music.
a podcast and shit. We're not too bad.
Shift, yes. And shift.
And A.
Absolutely. Shift and A. Shift and A. And then also we, of course, are joined by our co-host, JP. And, by the way, real quick, JP, Jess Rogie, thank you for swinging us on the network. We had some technical difficulties today. Jess just figured out all the problems, all the things. So thanks to Jess Rogie for doing that. But anyway, yes, we are also joined by JP, our co-host. What's happening, JP?
What's up? What's up? I know what's up with Brad. I can see it in his face. It's great. It's good to be here. The 281st day of the year, Brad. Did you know that?
I did.
Oh, good.
I've been counting every second since I've been here.
Yeah, who's counting? Yeah.
Right on.
Oh, and it's Gigi's 220th show.
No way.
Yeah, well, that's...
If you take 2 and 2, and you add that together, that's 4, and you put the 4 in front of the 20, you've got 420.
Is that God speaking right now?
That was a huge stretch, but yes, that does make sense. Absolutely.
Was that God?
I had to spin that. I was spinning that in its proper form right there. It all needed to be shared anyway.
And God has spoken, or is that the awakening?
Yeah,
man?
you know. Speaking of proper form, coming in without being properly introduced, that is Erik, Awakening Man. Yes. Absolutely.
Hey guys, I just thought it was funny. I just wanted to inject that real quick. Carry on, guys. Carry on.
We have no sort of format here. We just kind of hang out, you know. So it's all good. It's all good. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you guys, we're gonna do. So here's what we're doing tonight, folks. Hey, what's up, everybody in the Discord chat? Good to see you, and everybody in the Fringe FM chat as well. And I'll get more to all the chat details in a little bit. But yeah, so we got a cool show for you guys tonight. So we're gonna have Erik.
Hold on a second.
What?
We got one other important guest.
Last but not least.
Yeah, I was just in the middle of about to introduce him. Unless you guys can let me talk for 1 second.
You guys just need to put the pipe down and let Gigi do his job.
We dropped the ball.
So as I was saying, we're gonna have story time tonight with a couple of friends of ours, including Erik, Awakening Man, and of course no stranger to this show whatsoever. Probably one of the more common guests we've had on this show that's frequented here more often than others is our good friend Jeff Renel, which just so happenstancely, well, that's a new word I've never said before, just so happenstancely was there for a couple of the events that Eric's going to bring up, and also has some other insider info on some of the others. And so we're going to go there tonight. And with that said, also welcome Jeff Renel to the show. Good to have you here, and thanks for coming on such short notice. Really appreciate that.
Woo! Thank you very much, man. I'm happy to be here. It's always a privilege to be here, and always fun. So, looking forward to this evening.
Absolutely. And of course, Justin Bieber jokes flying in from both chat rooms already. That's always good fun. And we should make a GG poster and just send that to Brad, or I mean not Brad, Pat. Kind of a similar, not really a similar name. You know what, Pat? Just wait till you come to the next conference. Just wait.
I saw Bieber, like, what was it, a magazine cover today, and I thought of Pat. So, you know what? I'm thinking of Pat today in line grabbing beer, and I see a Bieber thing. God bless it.
And speaking of Pat, he would be happy to know that we don't have phone lines tonight. And we'll see what we say about that, what he says about that. Gotta love Elfman. Elfman. And you know what? I do have one thing that I am absolutely going to say before the show is over, but I think I'm going to save it to the end because of various reasons. But other than that, I don't know. I don't really... I kind of feel like we should just jump right into this,
There are conferences in November. Just got to say real quick. 5D conference in Vegas, right? The 4th to the 7th, right, Eric? Brad Olson will be there rocking it.
Yep, Renel will be there. I'll be there.
Jeff will be there. Yeah, it'll be... Vegas is fun. There's so much to do there besides the conference. And then, of course, Jeff is a local there, so if you get to hang out with him, he's going to show you how to actually win in Vegas, because from what I heard, he's been kicked out of every casino there for making a living for 30 years. And now he's got, that hill over there, way over there on like the eastern north side. I heard Jeff has that house right up there on the top. It's got like the endless pool and jacuzzi.
That would be nice, but I had to get rid of that, man. The heat was on, so I had to skip town.
I know. You did the right thing.
But actually, I did professional gambling for a while in my life as well, so I could teach you a few things on how to win in Vegas for sure. I did the sports book because there you actually have a fighting chance of winning.
I learned how to win in Vegas, actually, and it's you just don't go to Vegas, and that's how I win.
Every time you don't put your money on the table, you're a winner.
Here's
all right,
my
next up though, Starworks, baby, right down the street from Vegas and Laughlin for you little baby gamblers.
Yep.
You want to go have fun on the river?
Hey, that's a great place. That's where people from Vegas actually go to be tourists, is over in Laughlin.
Right.
And it's like, the cheap man's version of Vegas. It's like, like 80s style. I don't think it's been renovated since the 80s. But it's always a good time, and Paula puts on a great conference up there. It's very worth your while to go.
Yeah.
And that's what is it, Eric, the 12th to the 14th in November as well?
That's right.
And you got the Laughlin, you got the Colorado River right there, which is awesome.
So that you
right there.
You could go there, go hit the Grand Canyon, and then hit the other conference and spend like 2.5, 3 weeks in the desert. It's totally going to be cool. It's not hot as hell as it usually is.
Well, and Eric actually is on
not
this
better
trip
perfect
here,
time,
but
right?
if you go to Laughlin too, there's some amazing petroglyphs right there, about 20 minutes away from the conference, that are absolutely amazing up in Grapevine Canyon. Worth your visit.
Yeah.
I personally prefer Laughlin every once in a while. It's a nice alternative to the big chaos that is Vegas. So I like the ambiance over there. It's an interesting place and great sky watching too.
And it'll be a perfect time of the year to go.
Yeah. And Kingman, by the way, Kingman is only a half an hour from Laughlin and Old Stockton Road. I'm going to be taking a drive out there. If anybody comes along, I could pretty much guarantee you're going to see just a whole handful of UFOs at this one area, because every time I go there, I see them. So I'm hoping that it'll happen again.
And also, you know what? Okay, let me respond to Elfman real quick. He thinks I don't know how to use a rotary dial phone. Well, let me tell you what, my friend. I grew up on one. Joke's on you. And you know what else I noticed is not only Elfman, but everybody in the audience, when they say hi to everyone, they name me last. Like if you think about any other show, like let's say Joe Roop show, they'll be like, hey, Joe, and you, and you, and you. But for me, it's just like, no, hey, everybody. Oh, and Gigi. Hey. Yeah.
Yeah, you're like that, the DJ at the wedding or something. They just don't know your name or something. That's messed up.
Listen, folks, this show doesn't produce itself, but yes, those two conferences coming up. Also, Michael Cramo is going to be. I think he's during the same time as Laughlin. If you guys can't make it to that, he is also going to be in Sedona. I think through the 12th through the 15th. And once he gets done with that, we're going to have him back on this show next month. So definitely look out for that. And if you don't know who Michael Cramo is, first of all, how dare you? And then second of all, Forbidden Archaeology. Are you kidding me? Go look that shift up. All right, but enough tomfoolery, enough willy-nilly. Let's get right on into this. So tonight, as we said, our main guests here are Erik Awakening Man and Jeff Renel, and I think we're going to let Erik kickstart this because he just got back from a 3-week just adventure extraordinaire, and he's experienced a lot. He's got a lot on film, not to mention things before and after, and Jeff here was also able to confirm a lot of the stuff we're going to talk about tonight as well. So let's go ahead and get started, Erik. So what? Let's start here. What was the initial motivation for you to go on this 3-week extravaganza to begin with? Like, what was the first place you were going to go, and did you know it was going to be 3 weeks when you first left?
No. Good question, by the way. So the initial idea came earlier this year when we were at the MegaCon in Laughlin. I think that was March or May, I can't remember, but earlier this year. And Raw was there he was a vendor, and he had a table right next to Dwayne Ollinger, who is the owner of the Blind Frog Ranch. And so they spent a lot of time talking and getting to know each other and became friends. And anyway, by the end of that weekend, and Raw and I are already friends, so of course, I would see him talking to Dwayne, and every now and then I'd walk over to him and I'd say, "So what's going on? Tell me what's happening with this Blind Frog Ranch thing. Is it real? Is this legit?" I'm trying to get the inside scoop from Raw because he was getting all the inside intel. So, bottom line is, Dwayne invited us. He invited Raw, but I was kind of in on the conversation a few times, and he said, "Yeah, you and Erik can both come and stay on the property and check it out." And so Raw and I both agreed that went on the list. And so when the time came for the conference, the Nomicon was the first conference they've ever had in Vernal, Utah. They got a new building out there. It's a pretty nice place, actually, very nice. Anyway, so when it got announced, Tom Dongo, who you should have on the show, by the way. You've had Tom Dongo on the show, haven't you, Gigi, or do you remember?
Yeah, but that was like 4 years ago. We need to have him back on. Yeah.
Yeah, you should have him back on. But anyway, he was invited to speak as a guest at the conference, and so he contacted me and said that they gave him an extra ticket, and he asked me, you can have this ticket? And I said, great. And so then I looked and saw who was going to be there, and I saw that all the Skinwalker Ranch people were going to be there, and Dwayne and all the Blind Frog Ranch people were going to be there, and some other people. George Knapp, so on and so forth. Anyway, so I said, yeah, that sounds great. I want to go. Thanks. And then I thought Raw popped into my head. I says, does Raw know about this? So I contacted Raw and I said, Raw, do you know there's a conference happening in Vernal, Utah on the 9th of September? And he said, no. I says, well, now, I says, this is our chance. Let's do a road trip. Let's go out there and let's go camp at the ranch and let's do this. And he says, yeah, let's do this. And so we went, we planned this out like a month ahead of time.
Wow.
So anyway, I'll pause there if you have any questions or you want to interject anything.
I don't think so. No, let's just get right into it.
Okay. So yeah. So Raw, we made the plan. We set up the meet in Williams, Arizona, which is Highway 64 is the little highway you take right up to Grand Canyon on the south rim, I believe it is. And so I agreed to meet with them there, and there was going to be one other person that was trying to leak onto the deal. I'm not going to say his name on the air, but I'll tell you guys privately. But I pretty much almost didn't threaten, but I told Raw that if this person comes along, I said, I'm not going, or you guys could do your own thing. I'm just going to go by myself because I don't want to be around this particular person. So he just shut that person out. But anyway, then Sarah Adams, wanted to go. And so I thought, okay, that's cool. I like Sarah. She's interesting. She's fun to hang out with. And so, Sarah kind of jumped in on the deal. Right. So so she took her car, Rod took his vehicle, I took my vehicle. We convoyed it up to Grand Canyon. We spent like half the day up there checking out all the sites. And part of the fun for me, actually most of the fun for me, was I was kind of the lead vehicle. So every time there was a pull out, I told them ahead of time, I'm going to pull out, we're going to get out of the car, we're going to go look and whatever, and then we'll get back in the car, we'll just keep going. I just want to see all these things. And they were all for it. So every time we would stop, Sarah would get out of the car, Rod get out of the car, and then we'd walk over to this area in the Grand Canyon. We're looking out, and I just knew, I even told Jimmy this was going to happen. I says, what's going to happen is we're going to get there, and Rod's going to have a story, and Sarah's going to have a story, and I'm going to record it. And so I've still got these tapes, these video audio tapes that I recorded of the stories that they told at each little stop out. And so, if you know Sarah, you know that she was tapping in to the ETs and the galactic, and the Stargates and the whole 9 yards. She was describing what was happening there and what used to happen there. And Raw was kind of going into his little thing, and it was pretty wild. It made the trip fun. And right away it was fun because we're just getting kind of narratives like this Star Galactic, Spacegate narrative. It was kind of, so anyway, so from there, we drove up to, I think we didn't quite make it to Utah. We got up there in some part of Arizona, further up. I can't remember where it was, but we stayed at some Airbnb. And then the next day we drove up to Moab. Moab's awesome, by the way. It's a great place. And there's a little town right before Moab. I can't think of the name of it. It's some sort of little old kind of rancher-style town that doesn't have a lot of business and property, but the business and the properties are really exclusive. It's like an exclusive little community that's before Moab, where probably the people that don't want to be around too many people want to live. Anyway, so we were there, and the thing is we weren't really doing any sky watching those first 3 nights, that we were going from place to place, and we planned that we would get to Vernal in 3 days. That was the plan. We weren't going to try to rush up there. I mean, we could have done it all in maybe one day if we wanted to drive all day long, but none of us wanted to do that. So anyway, the last day we're driving to Vernal, and it was starting to get late. It was maybe 5 o'clock, and Sarah was getting tired. We were all kind of getting worn out from driving all day. And so we got on the internet and we found an Airbnb in this little town that's right next to Vernal. Technically, I think it was Vernal, but on the map, I forget the name of the town, but it was more in the inland kind of desert rancher area where the properties out there had several acres. It wasn't like tract homes. So we're way out there in this little area, and And we get there, and it's about 7 o'clock. It's not getting dark yet. The sun's getting ready to set, and so we're kind of unloading and getting the hamburgers ready, and then this is when things start kicking off. And I will say this was kind of weird because, well, it's not weird, but it was kind of, I would have preferred if Sarah had not been doing whatever she was doing in her room, which maybe she was talking to a client or taking a bath. I don't know what she was doing, but when all the UFOs started showing up, she never came out of the house once. I don't even know if she knew it was happening. She just stayed in her room, and Raw and I were in the back patio, and I was back there, and the first thing that happened, I've told this story so many times, so I'm trying not to skip anything. The first thing that happened was I saw a light appear over the it was out about, I would say, maybe 150 yards, maybe 200 max, and it was still light out, and it just lit up, and I knew right away that whatever that was, it wasn't supposed to be there, because it just turned on like a light switch. And I thought, okay, something that's not supposed to be there, and there's no houses there, there's no poles, there's no runways. I mean, there's no reason why. And it was a weird light. It was like a diamond-shaped light. It wasn't a saucer or a circle or a square or a triangle. It was like a diamond. It was really weird. I'd never seen anything like this. So I went to take a picture, and it turned off. And then I knew right away that something was. I was just thinking, okay, this is not supposed to be happening. So I yelled into Raw. I said, Raw, I says, come on out here. You got to check this out. And he didn't answer. And so it happened again. The light came on again. And again, I tried to take a picture of it. And again, it went off. So this time I went into the house. I said, Raw, I said, there's a light coming on and off out here. I said, I can clearly see it. I said, get your gear, get your camera, get all your stuff. Please come out here. We need to film this. Because, if we're going to tell these stories, we got to have proof, because otherwise people might think we're just making this shit up. So he comes out. He's got half a hamburger in his hand. He comes out of the house, and he's got his tripod in one hand with the camera attached to it, and his binocular night vision. We didn't really, at that moment, it wasn't dark yet. The sun had set, but it was still that twilight where you could still see very clearly all the surroundings, and I could take pictures with my camera without having to be in the night mode. There was still enough light, so I was able to take a picture of that diamond light. The third chance I got, I was able to snap a shot of it, and then after that, within like 10 minutes or so, it was starting to get dark, and then there's some mountains that were maybe 8 or 10 miles away, I would say, somewhere in that range, that were facing far. We could see them like straight ahead. There was nothing obstructing our view, and there's little mountain ranges, and you could tell that it was layered. In other words, it wasn't just one set of mountains. There was another set beyond that, and another set beyond that, and I'm sure there was little valleys in between these mountains. So you could just tell there was just a whole bunch of mountains out there. And this was actually the area. I didn't know it at that time, but this is where La Pointe is, which is where the Blind Frog Ranch is. And so that area that we were looking into is right next to Vernal, but it's a town called La Pointe. And so this is where we were seeing the lights. And so what would happen, the first thing we would see is this glow would be coming up from behind the mountain. It would be glowing really bright and really wide, like way too big it could not possibly have been a car or a truck or it couldn't be anything other than what it was, it was unidentified. It was flying. It was an object. It was a light. I don't know exactly what it was, but I'd never seen anything like this before, because it emerged up behind the mountain. It just peaked up, and then it would get really, really bright, really, really bright. I mean, like flashing bright. And then you could see for a moment that it was a triangle, but then it would be so bright that you couldn't even see the shape of it. It just looked like a solid white, bright light. And it would just hover there. And then it would go down, and then it would come back up, and then another one would go down, but another one next to it, like in the mountain range next to it, to the left, maybe like another 5 or 10 miles, I would guess, maybe not.
Oh, no. Erik just dropped.
Yeah, he did.
He just dropped. kind of on time because we have to take a break, but at the same time,
Yeah.
here he is calling back in. All right.
Good. That was crazy, man.
Yeah, you know.
Anyway, I don't know what happened, but I think the call dropped.
Yes, it did. That's all right, though. We got you back. Absolutely.
Where was I? Because I don't even know when it stopped.
Well, I'll tell you what. We're probably gonna have to take a couple steps back. I mean, we have to go to break right now. Anyway.
Yeah, go to a break and then we'll step back.
But real quick, before I forget, so which exact? Because I know you said one area, but it might be called something else. So which area are we talking about here?
La Pointe. La Pointe is the actual town that the Blind Frog Ranch is in. It's called La Pointe.
Okay.
Lapointe, I believe.
La Pointe. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
If you go on Google Earth, you could see it. You could like type in Vernal, and you could type in La Pointe, and then you can do a 3D, and you could see. I mean, when I see you guys, I'll show you exactly where we were, and then I'll show you where the mountains were, and then I'll show you the mountains to the left, where we saw this massive triangle for several minutes, and that's what we'll talk about after the break, if you want.
All right, so we'll pick right back up with the triangle when we come back here at La Pointe. Absolutely. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to Shift Happens here for the Fringe FM. I'm your host, Gigi, along with our co-host, JP. And we are joined here also by our associate producer, Brad Harris. And, and don't you forget, Jeff Renel is here too, folks. And we're going to pick up right where we left off when we come back after a few short commercially minutes. Don't go anywhere, folks.
Why is it we're not very good with our health regimen until it's too late? We don't put oil in the car until the engine blows up. When the body's out of balance, your health is not so good. Give your body some love. Log on to GetTheT.com. That's GetTheT.com. Try our Life Change Tea, which cleanses you from harmful intruders. A clean colon is one of the ways to bring the body in balance. We also carry organic supplements to help you get where you need to go. So do your body a favor. Log on to GetTheT.com. That's GetTheT.com. You can even visit our sales page to save some dough. Does anybody call money dough anymore? Anyway, if you're looking for short, helpful health tips, go to YouTube and punch in Health Matters Now. That's Health Matters Now. So, log on to GetTheT.com, shop, get balanced, then learn some cool tips at Health Matters Now. You'll be glad you did. That's GetTheT.com.
From birth, we have been conditioned to conform to what is normal, conditioned to adhere to authority, and conditioned to repeat what has been told to us as truth. I'm Ryan Gable, and here at the Secret Teachings Radio, I've interviewed hundreds of great guests and done extensive unique research into subjects that span from the paranormal and the occult to health, philosophy, and history. I personally have no affiliations or agenda, except to use objective critical thinking in my analysis of every subject discussed, to empower myself with information and hopefully allow you to do the same. If you want to join me, tune into the Secret Teachings radio broadcast, airing live Monday through Friday from midnight to 3 a.m. U.S. Pacific Standard Time on the Fringe FM. For more information, you can visit our website at www.thesecretteachings.info or email me at rdgable@yahoo.com.
Pure Health Defenders, proud sponsor of Shift Happens, producing organic and natural health, wellness, and technology products for people, pets, and plants to thrive alive. Pure Health Defenders, also known as PhD, is powered by C7 technology, scalar energy, atomic technology, and fueled by Sea Miracle Superfoods. 118 nutrients of the purest sea vegetables Mother Earth has to offer. recognized 100% by people, pets, and plants, delivering the value the same. Everybody deserves a PhD. Be smart about it. Come join the healthiest family today.
Kids, don't drink and park. Accidents cause people. This has been a PSA brought to you by your friends at Shift Happens and The Fringe FM.
Ew, yuck. They're unhealthy and gross. Bugs, I hate bugs. We keep a clean home, but occasionally bugs show up. Well, I found something that is tougher than bugs. Orange Guard. From contact, it kills bugs. Plus, Orange Guard kills hidden bugs and keeps new bugs away for weeks. I know. I use Orange Guard. Plus, all of the ingredients of Orange Guard are on the FDA generally regarded as safe list. Orange Guard may be used around food, humans, and pets. It promotes a healthier planet, and here's a bonus. Orange Guard cleans where it's sprayed. Plus, it comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Orange Guard.
You can get Orange Guard at Ace Hardware. And listen, folks, Orange Guard is tougher than bugs, and it's safe to use. Go to orangeguard.com. That's orangeguard.com.
KTLK Digital Broadcasting. We rock the paranormal talk.
Ladies and gentlemen, for the Fringe FM, this is Shift Happens. I'm your host, Gigi, along with our associate producer, Brad Harris.
Damn, that's some clever music you have there, son.
Yeah, there we go. And we're also joined by our co-host, JP.
Hey there. It sounds like some angry Brit music there. I'm not sure what that was, but it was good. How's it doing?
Yeah, that's a newer Queens of the song there for you. And we're also joined tonight by our guests, Erik Awakening Man and Jeff Renel. And now real quick, just for those of you that are just now tuning in or late to whatever, or you've just been too lazy this whole time, whatever the case is, we do have a couple of chat rooms. And I'll tell you what, because tonight we are not doing call-ins. So if you want to get your questions in to any of us, you're going to have to do that through the chat rooms, which we have two. The first one is over at Spreaker. Quickest way to get there is just go to shifthappensradio.com. There's an episode player in the middle of the homepage. Click the chat icon underneath the current episode. Bam. You're in there. And then also the other way is to go to the Fringe FM Discord, which is popping off right now. I didn't say the latest Bieber meme, but it seems to be getting everybody cracking up. Can't wait to check that out. And that's over at the Fringe FM. Just go to www.fringe.fm. Click on the drop-down menu, go to the Join the Chat option, and bam, you're in the Fringe FM Discord. All right, and with all that shenanigans out of the way, let's go ahead and get right back. So, now, Erik, you were talking about the point where the triangle objects were coming up, but let's take like half a step back, and just for people that are just now tuning in, where are you? Where's the location? And then we'll get into that.
Okay, we're in the outskirts of Vernal, Utah, in a kind of a rancher's area where there's not any trees. It's just like a flat field, and there's lots of acreage and no neighbors like right in the area. There's no traffic. There's no roads. I mean. Anyway, it's kind of remote, so there's no light pollution. So everything we were seeing was we weren't being affected by any distractions. Let's put it that way.
Right. Okay. And so,
anyway, yeah. So we'll recap the first light. You know, I was able to get a picture of. I put it on Twitter before. If people want to see it, I'll tweet it again later. That's a really good picture, actually. I'm pretty pumped about that picture. And then, of course, then the lights started popping up over the mountains, coming up, going down. At one point, you would see it, and it looked like a triangle, but then it would get really bright, and then you couldn't see any shape. That was happening. And then so I was recording with my phone, and in the night mode on the Samsung Galaxy S21, and Ra was recording, looking at his Gen 3 binoculars with his iPhone 12 attached to it on this attachment device that he had custom made. So he was actually getting great video, tremendous video that's actually on his YouTube channel. And the video that I have, only a minute of it on my Twitter, is half the quality as what Ra has on his channel. And Ra has 18 minutes of video that, I'm just telling you guys, you will not be disappointed if you go look at that video on Ra's YouTube channel. You're going to see and you're going to think, damn, that's like legit, because it was legit. There was nothing funky going on. There's no misinterpretation, I can assure you. So anyway, but what got me excited even, okay, so all this is happening. I'm getting real excited, and Ra's getting excited. I've never seen Ra actually get excited before, but he was getting excited. He could tell by what he was saying and the tone in his voice. He kind of went outside of his personality a little bit. We both became like little kids for a minute, because we couldn't believe that we're getting this and we're recording it, because there's always stories with no recordings or no pictures, and we were getting it on video. And so then at one point, this light pops up over the mountain, and it kind of goes up a little bit above the ridgeline. You could see the separation. And then to the right of it, this little tiny red dot appears next to it. No idea what that was. And it kind of brightens up for a moment, and then it turns off, whatever it did. And then a few moments later, to the left of the big white light, the red dot appears again. I've got all this on. I recorded all this. That video I have not released yet, because it's in my Samsung phone that's being repaired. So when I see you guys, I'll show you that video. That's pretty amazing too. So then the next thing that happened that actually just really tripped us out, because lights moving around, that's all cool. That's pretty neat. But then there was this one light. This was right before we saw the main triangle. So this is the last part to there's two more light stories. This one light comes up, it's sitting there, it's really bright, and then to the left of it, there's another light, a smaller light, to the left of it, further down on the mountain ridge, that's now moving towards this main light. And as it's moving towards the main light, and I'm looking at this through my Zoom, 5x Zoom night vision, Gen 3, $3,000, night vision goggles, or they're actually binoculars is what they are, because you can zoom in. So I was zoomed in on this thing. I could see really clearly. I couldn't see the shape of it, but I could see exactly what was happening. There was no distortion. And so I wasn't able to record this, but I think Ra was able to record part of this. And so anyway, so this light's coming left towards the main light, which is in the center. And then all of a sudden it looks like there's three lights side by side. Instead of just being one little light, now it looks like there's three lights side by side, and they stop, and they're right next to where this big light was. And I'm thinking, what the heck is going on here? The first thought that came into my mind was, is that like a car that's just stopping out there? But it would have been impossible for it to be a car, because it was above the mountain. I mean, there's no road above the mountain. My head was tripping. I was like, what is going on? And then these three lights, they go right up, right below the main light, and they just pause for a moment. Then they go further to the right. They pause again, and they just sit there for a few seconds, and then they kind of cruise backwards, right next to where the light is below it again, and then they cruise back again, and then they go far exit left, and they're gone. So that whatever happened there, I'd never seen anything like that before. That was really cool, because it looked to me like there was some other lights that were there observing the main light, but the main light never did anything about any of the activity that was happening around it. It was weird. So anyway, so this is the final light story. So we're at this point, I mean, I've had my fill. I mean, I'm thinking this is I've seen it all already. I mean, we both commented this was worth the drive out here. I mean, if we don't see anything the rest of the trip, this was worth it. I mean, this was just awesome. And so then we're just kind of scanning the sky. I've got my night vision. I'm just kind of scanning the sky, and then I look to the left. Now, this is not in the same mountain range. This is a different mountain range to the left. So we're kind of surrounded by mountain ranges. So now this is in a completely different area to our left, which is past the town of Vernal, out onto this area of that would be the road that you would take to get to the backside of La Pointe. Okay, so technically where this next light showed up, I think was probably very close to La Pointe, on the La Pointe Vernal border. So then I see this light, and I'm like, it's just sitting there. It wasn't doing anything. And I was looking at it at first with the naked eye, and I could barely make out. It looked like a triangle with even the naked eye, but I wasn't sure if it was or not. So that's when I put the night vision up to my eyes, and I looked at it very clearly. I could see it was a triangle. And I want to say this because this has not been said yet, because I did some research, and I don't want to embellish this. In the video, you're going to see the main triangle on my Twitter, and then you're going to see some other what looks like triangle-shaped things below it. And then on the right-hand side of the video, you're going to see what you can't actually see it, but you can see like a blinking light that's not direct light. It's just like indirect light that's blinking on the right. So what I've figured out is that is what Mick West calls a bokeh. So those were lens, those little things that were below the main light and to the right of the main light, the main triangle. Those were not objects. Those were not UFOs. Those were reflecting. They were reflecting off the equipment that we were using to film it. So I'm just being totally truthful. So if anybody thinks, oh, there's like 5 UFOs, there were not 5 UFOs. There was one, but that there was certainly one, because that video that Roz shot was for, I think, about 5 minutes. And you could clearly see what's weird about this triangle is it hardly moved. It did move a few times. It hardly moved, but the pattern of the flashing was very random. There was no, boom, 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 or
that's
1,
what I was
2,
going to ask.
3, 4. It was just, I had a random. And not only was the pattern of the flashing random, the brightness would be random. Sometimes it would get really bright, and it would flash really quick, and then other times it would be just sort of bright. It would just be flashing randomly. But if you freeze the frame, if you go to Raw's video on YouTube and you just freeze it, on several frames you can clearly see there is a light on each corner of that triangle. So it is my opinion that was a real triangle, and it had 3 lights on each corner of the triangle. And it also, I couldn't make it out in the video, but I would be willing to bet that there was also a center, some sort of light that was emitting from the center of it. But when it would get really bright and flash really bright, you would see all those lights come on, and then it would dim down. Now, at one point, it looked like it had turned off. But I had the 5x zoom on. I could see it. It was still there. It was just very, very dim. You wouldn't have even seen it with the naked eye. It was so dim. Oh. But Rod says, "Oh, it's gone." I said, "No, Rod, it's not gone. It's still there. It's just dim, really dim." And then it would flash back on again right in front of our faces. And so, to me, that was a UFO. That's just what I got to say.
Yeah, and I just want to make a quick point right here, and that is when it comes to the flashing lights. Right? A lot of people say like, oh, well, they're flashing. That's obviously, regular airspace rules, right? To, flash your lights. So that's obviously not UFO. Well, wait a minute. Hold on a second. What if I wanted to break into a cop station, right? Well, I know what their cop lights look like, don't I? Well, I just put some of those lights on my car and just drive right in, right? I'd fit right in. Nobody would question anything until they actually pull me over and realize I'm not a cop, right? So what about UFOs? Like, who's to say if they're traveling intergalactically or even galactically, just as impressive, who's to say that they are not smart enough to understand that we have blinking lights as a global system of flight. And how simple would that be for them to duct tape a couple of lights on there that flash a couple of times?
Duct tape.
And we put put that past
their
intelligence.
I'll let you finish, but go ahead.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean, though? Like, I just don't think that's a good...
Well, there's more to it, actually. This is the part that I didn't tell on Jimmy's show because I didn't have this information until just the last few days. Because I wanted to... Once I saw Raw's video, which was actually better than the video that I took by a few, I would say the quality of the recording was slightly better because he had it on a tripod, and he had it dialed in. But, I mean, the bottom line is this, here's what was strange about this, is I called Raw like 3 or 4 days ago. I said, I'm just trying to remember. I remember everything that happened. I remember every light that we saw. I remember looking at the triangle. I remember we were recording the triangle. I remember we were talking about the triangle. I said, this is no BS, guys. I said to him, I do not remember when we stopped recording the triangle or why we stopped recording the triangle and when we went to bed. Now, I'm not saying I had missing time, but I honestly don't remember, and we weren't drinking or smoking. Raw doesn't do either. I was completely sober. And Raw says to me, I don't remember either. I said, well, can you go back and look at the video and see what happens, what happens at the end? I mean, I only recorded it for a minute. I don't even remember why I stopped recording the video. You would think, you know what I mean? If you watch UFO videos, you think, oh, why did the guy only show a minute of it? Well, maybe that's all there was. But he had like 5 minutes of this video, but neither one of us remember more than like about a minute and a half afterwards. Now, this is what Raw told me, okay? This is where I'm going to get into some woo right now, okay? I'm going to give you some real woo right now. Raw says he showed this video to some of his friends in Sedona and some psychic friends that he had, and they told him that this light, whatever it was communicating with us, is what he was told. That there was some sort of message being told to us. I don't know if that's true or not. It's possible, I guess. But then, so I called Erik Mitchell, who's had experience with these lights before also. And he hadn't seen the video yet, and this was like 3 days ago. I said, Erik, I'm going to send you this video. Look at it. Tell me what you think. Well, what am I looking at here? What's going on? And he called me back immediately, and he said, Erik, he says that thing was communicating with you. It was telling you something. It was whatever it was doing. So that was, for me personally, as a UFO researcher / somewhat of a skeptic. I'm not really a big time skeptic like Nick West or one of these other jackoffs are. But the bottom line is, I have a hard time believing that some light 8 miles away was communicating with me. But whatever. That's what I was told, and neither one of us remember turning off the camera, picking up our gear, going to bed. All I remember is walking into my bedroom. I remember Raw walking into his bedroom. I remember just going right to sleep. That's all I remember. And we didn't even talk about it the next day, which was weird too. We didn't even have a conversation about it. We just continued on like it happened and it was cool and that was it. So whatever, that was weird, man. That's all.
Yeah, I don't know. I think there's you don't seem to be fully convinced that there's any sort of missing time situation going on there, but based on experiences that I've had, which I will promise I will spare you the whole story, it makes me think that you very well could have, the both of you. And especially, because, especially you, Erik, as excited as you get about things that happen like this, you think you're just going to snooze out after 45 seconds? And not remember?
Yeah, exactly.
You know
That's
what I mean?
Exactly the reason why I think something could have happened. That's really the only reason, because I know my personality. I don't quit until it's over. You know
exactly.
What I mean?
So I think
and the other thing that's weird, let me just throw this in there real quick. This is not weird, but this is, and I don't think this is a coincidence, is in May of last year when I was at Happy Jack, Raw was with me and John Polk and Krista, his girlfriend. And that was the night that that huge orb I filmed came over, and Rob saw it. We all saw it, and then we had like 20 other objects come over the top of us. So the only two times that I've ever gone on any kind of exploration with looking at the sky with Raw, I've had major sightings. For me, those are the two biggest sightings I've ever had in my life, and they were with Ra. So this could be something. Ra says he's Arcturus Ra. He's Palladian. He's a starseed. All his friends are starseeds. Krista's a starseed. I mean, there's a lot of people that believe this. I mean, I'm not saying that they're wrong or they're right. It could be true. I don't doubt these people. I would never challenge them. But if they are starseeds, and these things are communicating, and I just happened to be standing next to Ra when this was happening, then maybe I just was lucky. Could have been too. I got lucky.
Yeah, and Ra is certainly, man, how do I say that? He's I've never met somebody like Ra. He is a
unique
and
dude.
You and Jeff both know what I'm talking about. He's very in tune with a lot of things that are otherwise hard to be in tune with, I guess, if that makes any sense. And I don't know, man. Ra's the kind of guy that he kind of reminds me of Doc Ram in a way, where it's like you might not fully understand what he's saying, but you need to stop and listen when he talks. You know what I mean? If that makes any sense.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I try to record everything he says whenever I can. I've got lots of recordings, and he's pretty cool about it. But in the next segment coming up here in a few minutes, we'll bring Jeff in, because now then Jeff can see. I asked you, Jeff probably knows this. I asked you to ask Jeff to be on the show because Jeff is very good at describing things, and he's legit, in my opinion. People know Jeff's legit. He's not one of these guys running around. So he's gonna co-sign what happened, and he can put his viewpoint on what happened and what he saw and heard at the ranch, as well as when we went up on the Bigfoot Mountain there in Ashley. And so you guys could hear it from him directly, and then I could add more to the story that he tells, and that's going to get really interesting, I think, in this next half hour.
All right, well, that's a perfect... let's go ahead and take our next break a little bit early, and that way we'll have a little bit more time on the next segment. And let's go right there. And wait, I did a thing incorrectly. All right, there we go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to Shift Happens here for the Fringe FM. I'm your host, Gigi, along with our associate producer, Brad Harris, and our co-host, JP. And we are here tonight with Erik Awakening Man and... oh my goodness, I almost did several incorrect things. We're here with Erik Awakening Man and Jeff Renel, and we're going to swan dive right back in to some epic, real paranormal stories. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back here in just a few short commercially minutes. We'll see ya.
KTLK Digital Broadcasting, thefriends.fm, Napa Valley, California, Little Rock, Arkansas.
Tired of talking about the weather? No, Shift. Well, Shift Happens is here to fulfill your desires as you reach that point in life where you crave tantalizing conversation about reality, ufology, the occult, and the conspiracies within, while simultaneously finding yourself desperately in need of your very own theme music, which we've got plenty of that too. So be sure to tune in to Shift Happens every Friday night from 7 to 9 Pacific, right here on the Fringe FM. Because the weather sucks, and you need some theme music.
Ever seen an extraterrestrial? It can be hard to believe they exist unless you've seen one for yourself. What if I told you I've seen them my whole life, but have never had a witness who shared the encounter with me. Now, what if I told you I saw 4 of them, 2 with blue skin, and there are over 20 witnesses to this CE5 event? My new book, The Blue Beings, Visitation at the UFO Conference, documents actual accounts from real witnesses, many of which have gone on record to attest to this otherworldly reality. Be a part of the quantum paradigm shift that is taking place right now. Go to johnpolkmedia.com to get your copy of The Blue Beings, Visitation at the UFO Conference, on sale right now at johnpolkmedia.com. That's JOHNPOLK media.com.
This is Ronnie LeBlanc, author of Monsterland, Encounters with UFOs, Bigfoot, and Orange Orbs, and you're listening to Shift Happens on KTLK, The Fringe FM.
KTLK Digital Broadcasting. We rock the paranormal talk.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Shift Happens here for the Fringe FM. I am your host, Gigi, along with our co-host, JP.
I don't know about you. I'm thoroughly interested in this story Eric's telling. It is quite a deal here. Wow.
Absolutely. And we're going to get right back into that. And we're also joined by, I think, possibly our associate producer, Brad Harris.
He checked out.
He's getting fajitas.
It was worth a try.
Yeah.
Wait, no, he's still here. He's still here. He's just not here. Yeah.
Is that part of the show? If we're on the show, we get fajitas? I want some.
We just like to trick our audience into who's here or not, And sounds great tonight. Well, that's good. Thanks, Scott. I'm not sure why it didn't sound great the other nights. Because I'm doing the same thing. That's all right. And so, ladies and gentlemen, what we're doing tonight, if you're just now tuning in, or you're late to the show, or you're not sure what's going on, we've got Erik Awakening Man and Jeff Renel here. And we're just going through some real stories that actually happened to our friends here. Real paranormal stories. And by the way, we might maybe have a surprise guest call-in in a couple of minutes, even though I announced we couldn't do call-ins earlier.
Right on. Bring it in. I'm all for that. Anybody that wants to call, surprise Gigi, I insist.
Well, it'll probably surprise you more than anything, but there's also
especially
a chance.
If their first name starts with a J. Anybody that their first name starts with a J is welcome to call in.
Well, then I guess they're welcome.
That could be Jason Quidd. It could be Jimmy Church. It could be a whole slew of J's.
But at the same time, that could also not happen. You never know here on Shift Happens.
You never know.
We never know.
But anyway, okay, Gigi, let's move on because there's a lot to tell, brother. Let's get going.
Yeah, let's get right back into it. Absolutely.
But so I just want to say this real quick before you introduce Jeff. I'll let you introduce Jeff. But so Jeff and I had been texting the week prior to this conference, and then I had mentioned to him, but I didn't follow through because first of all, I wanted to make sure I got there. And second of all, once I got there, I wanted to make sure that I wasn't going to drag him 4 hours in his car to something that wasn't going to be what I thought would be worth his while. So once I got there, and that went down on that was Wednesday night, the 9th, I believe it was the 8th or the 9th of Wednesday. That next day I called Jeff, and he knew that it was time to get in the car. So anyway, you introduce Jeff, and let's let Jeff take over what was going through his head and what he saw and what he experienced, and kind of let him walk through his story.
All right, yeah.
You want me to just get going?
Yeah.
Go for it.
All right. So actually, yeah, I had actually just got back from a 12-day trip where I met up with Brad Olson out in Mount Shasta and stuff. So I was just starting to rest up when Erik called me on a Saturday morning. I was just starting to sip my first cup of coffee, and he starts mentioning Bigfoot and Blind Frog Ranch and get my ass up there. So I hung up and was on my way up there, and so we got up there and got a chance to meet the owners of Blind Frog Ranch and his son and everything, and they're very gracious, great people. Got to catch George Knapp, the last speaker of the conference up there, which I was very happy about because he's definitely not really, I don't want to say an idol, but, somebody I definitely look up to, especially because I'm from Vegas, so I've seen him my whole life. I was there when he exposed everything with Bob Lazar and stuff like that. So had a very great time getting up there. So then, of course, through Raw and Erik, we were able to go up to Blind Frog Ranch that night and camp out, which was one of the things I really wanted to do. So when we got up there, we drove back into the ranch pretty far, got back there, set up, and as soon as the sun started to go down, there was just instant activity. And there was activity the whole time we were up that night. I would say, around 15 different sightings we probably had. Do you think that's correct, Erik?
I would maybe 20, but 15 would be for sure. Probably closer to 20, but those are only the ones we were able to see because, as you know, we've got our vision is looking in one part of the sky where most of the activity seemed to be, but we weren't really looking behind us very much. So it could have been stuff going on there too that we missed. But anyway, keep going. Yeah,
from what we could see that night, we definitely saw at least 15. I would say more easily, but I would say on the conservative side, 15. And it was a lot of fun. It was really cool being up there and stuff. I wish we could have stayed up there a few more days so we could have explored around. I know Erik had a chance to do that, so I'll let him talk about his point on that. But it was really amazing. And Raw's setup is awesome. You got just a great clear view. I don't know how he rotates that tripod, but he's able to keep it right on the object for a very long time. So it was just absolutely amazing. We saw a lot of different activity out there that night. So I'll let Erik talk about his experience there that night as well, too, before we move on to the next day, because I can't believe what we experienced the next day. That's for damn sure.
And also, Erik, if you could include too, if you know anything about what kind of equipment was being used, like the telescope and any of that stuff's pretty interesting to me. But yeah, go for it.
Yeah, well, the night vision, you could get night vision goggles in the low $2,000 range, or you could get a zoom binocular, which it looks goggles with a single lens that you can zoom in with, so you can get 5 times closer than you would with the goggles. And then Raw had this monocular, which was a single, like, one lens tube, and that was attached to this tripod, and then then he had his iPhone attached to the part where you look through the binocular. He had it attached there, so he was actually recording right off of his iPhone while he's looking through the night vision binocular. And yeah, he got good at it pretty quick. I mean, I've had to do it before just by holding it in my hand. I'll hold my cell phone up to my zoom lens, and I'll just hold it real close, and then I could get videos sometimes that way. But I didn't bother with it this time because I knew he was recording it, so I was just kind of enjoying the sky. But, I won't talk.
Too. I won't talk optic that I use.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. You got yours too. So talk about yours, because I didn't really check yours out, really.
Mine's a Luna Optic. It's pretty basic, but I actually can record on it. That's one of the reasons I went to it. And when I was looking at Lunas, I didn't know they actually had higher grade ones than the one that I actually purchased. After I purchased it, they actually then sent me a manual with all the different ones. But I got some good footage of some of the objects in the sky that night. I haven't had a chance to go through it yet. I'm actually hoping to do that tomorrow morning. But again, I'll let Erik speak on what his experience was.
Yeah. So the first night, I think, I told this in Jimmy's show before. It was Friday night. It was before Jeff had gotten there. It was the night after. It was either Thursday or Friday night, but it was the night after we had the sightings in Vernal, all the triangles and everything. We went up on the mountain in the Blind Frog, and we had to climb up this mountain. It wasn't really easy to get up. I mean, we had to stop several times to catch our breath, but we got up there and we set up on top of this big rock up there that was like the highest peak. And I was thinking for sure we were going to see something. I was excited. I was thinking, oh yeah, we could look into this valley over here where we couldn't see the night before, where we think these lights were coming out of. I got the Google Earth, I triangulated everything. I figured out, okay, this is where we were. This is where we are now. This is where we saw the lights. This is where we think the lights are coming from. So we had everything focused, and we were ready. If it were going to happen, we were ready for it. But nothing happened. Literally, like for an hour and a half, we didn't see anything. It was very disappointing. Even not only in that area where we were hoping to see the same stuff we'd seen the night before, but behind us and above us, we were constantly looking, saw nothing. So we just shut it down early, went to bed, and then the next day, I think the next day was when Jeff came, I believe, or it could have been the day after. But the bottom line was we did some hiking around up there. I don't know if I took Jeff. Jeff, I didn't show you the tree structures. I don't think the Bigfoot tree structures on Blind Frog Ranch. Did I show those to you?
No, we didn't have much time when we got up there. By the time we drove up there after Saturday's event, we actually walked over to where the pond was, where they did the digging at Blind Frog Ranch, and had actually gone down in and found that cave that opens up into a water area, and there's a structure in there. So we went and checked that area out. And this is actually where those blind frogs actually came out of that when they dug the hole. And that's where, of course, I guess it gets its name from. But we looked at that hole for a while before it started to get dark.
Yeah, and then I didn't mention this is we were up so high on this one mountain that I don't think you got a chance to get up there, Jeff, because of the timing, but we could see down on the cave and the hole where the pond was, the Blind Frog Pond. And then we could see to the left, there was another cave and a hole that they had dug. It looked like they were going to go there, and they started to go there, and for whatever reason, they stopped. And then there was another one even further down to the left. So we found 2 other areas that they had been digging on. Actually, there was 4 areas in total that they were digging on trying to find this underwater reserve or whatever it is they were looking for. And I think the fourth try is when they actually found the area where the pond is, where you see the pond. And there's no more blind frog there anymore. I guess the story was that the blind frogs came out of the ground because they were in some cave system down there that's still yet to be completely discovered. And these blind frogs emerged from this cave when they poked the hole in there, and then they jumped into the pond, and then they're on the land surface of the Blind Frog Ranch. They've got pictures of them. I don't know where they went, but they're not there anymore.
Well, they probably just...
Anyway, so that's a little... Yeah.
Why don't you explain about Blind Frog Ranch really quick? Because I know Blind Frog Ranch is new to a lot of people, and they don't really know what it is.
Well, tell them what you know, because I mean, that's... Do you know some of it? Because you probably know as much as I do.
Yeah, let's let Jeff tell this part.
Yeah, Jeff.
Yeah.
Yeah, tell this part if you can.
So just a quick little overview of the place. So, of course, Dwayne, and I can't say his last name right now. I forget how to pronounce it. You could do that, Erik. But Dwayne bought the property, and he is more of a treasure hunter, an oil guy from what I understand. And so he bought the property for searching for the treasure. And there's a really interesting history that goes back for the Aztec coming here when the Spaniards were coming to invade, and they brought their treasure here and gave it to the Ute Indians, and the Ute Indians hid it. And so supposedly this is the treasure they're looking for, is the treasure that was hidden by the Ute Indians. And there's another story that goes to another group here in the Utah area. I forget who it actually was, but there was a very poor group that didn't have much money, but they were friends with the Utes. And the Utes didn't need the gold, and they started giving these people this gold, and all of a sudden, this little town all of a sudden became rich. And so this is the treasure that Dwayne is looking for and has been searching for. So you can find this series because Discovery is doing a series on them. I believe they said they're doing the second season. Probably have just finished up with the second season because our weather here in Utah is turning, and they're only 2.5 hours away from me. So they're probably ending up the second season now. But the very first season, I believe, is very good. It's a treasure hunting show, I believe, with a little bit of the twist of what, some of the stuff that's going on, the same as at Skinwalker Ranch. They believe that there's some possessions going on there, some skinwalkers there, and they're having mutilations as well, too.
And,
no, I didn't hear about the mutilations. You heard about mutilations at the Blind Frog?
Yeah, that's what they have claimed on the series there, because I watched every episode of the series just to get some info.
Oh, okay, I didn't. I missed that part. See, actually, I totally forgot that story you just told. Thank you for reminding me, because I completely forgot that. That's totally true. And actually, let me throw this in real quick. Ra found out that he believes, based on his research after the fact, that there's some sort of like a UFO base or something supernatural, whether it's UFO, supernatural, ET, whatever it is, it's non-human, that's in that mountain somewhere, and that treasure, it could be more than just a treasure there. He thinks there's more than just a treasure there. That's what he said.
Yeah, now that you mentioned that, when I was talking to Dwayne, the owner at the outpost after you introduced me, he was talking about how he's seen lights there many, many times, especially when they dig and stuff like that. So it's a very interesting place. I think it's going to start to become more popular. Dwayne definitely likes the spotlight there. But it's very interesting. I hope we get a chance to go put our feet on there again and hopefully stay more than just one night. I would love to walk around. There's supposedly some amazing Aztec petroglyphs from what they talk about on the series. So very interesting place.
Yeah, and then the part of the story we're going to get to next, I'll let Jeff talk about that too, is so where we were at the Blind Frog in La Pointe, there's a forest that's beyond that you could see. If you get up on the mountain, you could see all the way around 360 degrees. You could see the forest land where the huge forest trees are. So clearly, I mean, if you want to use your imagination, you can imagine that, deer, elk, whatever, Bigfoot, I don't know, but there's certainly plenty of forest that these creatures could be. And so I saw the area, this Ashley Forest area, and when I saw that, I didn't know that I was going to meet this guy at the conference named Brad. Now, did you meet the guy Brad at the conference, Jeff, that eventually took us up there? That before we went up there, I don't remember if you got to see us. Did you get to talk to him at the conference at all?
No, not at all. I didn't meet him until the day right before we met him, before we drove to the forest.
Okay, so I'll introduce Brad, and then you talk about the trip up there, and then the whole experience you tell that whole story from your perspective. So the Brad is the guy that was at the conference. Everybody, just so you know, he was a guest.
Now,
not a guest, but he was a.
Well, real quick, just to clarify, we're talking about Brad Olson. We're not talking about Brad Harris.
Oh, my bad.
Here.
No, this is a different Brad.
Yeah,
This is a local guy who's about 58 years old, about 6 foot tall, maybe 5'10". Long gray beard, but in pretty decent shape. Anyway, he's there at the conference. He's there to listen. He's there as a Patreon. And I see this guy with his cowboy hat on, and he wasn't really talking to anybody. And then, I'm just kind of checking things out. And then at some point, I was going outside to get something out of the van, and he was out there by his truck. And I just said hi to him, and then somehow we started having a conversation, this guy Brad. And in a nutshell, turns out he's 58. He's been experiencing the Sasquatch, Bigfoot, since he was 4 years old. He's been researching basically for 54 years. He had a photo album in his truck. He pulls out the photo album and shows me all these amazing photos of these tree structures. And I don't know if people know what I mean by tree structures, but these are what Bigfoot people believe. These Bigfoot are creating these massive structures with these trees, either putting them in a teepee shape or an X shape or whatever, for whatever their reasons are. People speculate, but the bottom line is this guy. So he's showing me this, and I says, "Well, where is this?" He says, "It's right up there." I go, "What do you mean right up there?" And he points, and it's right up there in the Ashley Forest, which was right above where the Blind Frog Ranch was. So I said, "So you've been there?" And he goes, "Yeah." And I go, "So you're telling me there's Bigfoot there?" He goes, "Yeah, there's like 15 or 20 of them up there." I said, "Really?" And he says, "Yeah." He goes, "I can take you up there. I'll show you where they are, and I'll show you whatever." And he was not even afraid to volunteer to take us up there. He wasn't trying to ask us for any money or sell us any kind of BS. He doesn't have a book to sell. Wasn't on any radio show or TV show. This was just some guy that was willing to take me out there. And so right away, after I figured out that I wanted to do this, I told Raw about it, and I told Jeff about it. And I said, "Yeah, tomorrow morning we're gonna meet this guy. He's gonna take us up there, and he's gonna show us where the Bigfoot are." So now I'm gonna let Jeff take over. So Jeff, we've got about 8 minutes before the break, so just talk as long as you want, though, bro. Describe what you're thinking and feeling as we're starting to get there and drive up there, and what your thoughts were and what you might have, what I mean. Go for it.
Okay, so I'll just, ever since I met Erik and Brad Olson, which was about a little over 4 years ago now, we've gone on quite a few different adventures. And when you go on adventures, you're always expecting to see something, hear something, whatever. I'm like, all right, this is going to be cool. I've never done a Bigfoot search before or anything like that. So, and me and Erik have talked about going out and doing it, and I've tried to talk him out to coming out to here because I hear there's activity in Provo Canyon. But anyhow, so Erik tells me about this. I meet him up with him. We go for this morning. We meet up with this guy, Brad. He starts to take us out there. If you guys are familiar with the Vernal area at all, I've never actually been to the Flaming Gorge Lake, but I believe that's what I was seeing off in the distance there. So we were out in that area. But yes, we went up to the Ashley Forest. I believe that's what you said, right, Erik?
Was that about 8,000 feet or 9,000 feet up, would you say? Or how high up were we above sea level, approximately?
I would say about there, if not even higher. I wasn't paying attention to that. I was just amazed by the beauty I was seeing as we were driving up there. It was just the most amazing view and scenic drive. I mean, unbelievable. And so we drive up there. We get into the forest. We start driving and going down different roads, and we're following. So I don't know particularly what areas we went to. I remember I was trying to take pictures and keep track so I could get back there. But so we get into this forest, we go for a while, and we get to this camping site. And then when we get there, we all get out. There's Brad, and then there's another guy, a French guy, I believe. That's the name I remember. I can't remember, Jacqueline or something.
Yeah, there was a French guy. There was a Bigfoot researcher guy also that was there also at the conference. Well, actually, there was two other guys that came along that were Bigfoot researchers that Brad invited. Just so you know, yeah. Go ahead.
So we get out, and everybody gets out of their vehicle, and as soon as we get out, Brad's going, "Hey, did you guys see the Bigfoot down the road a little bit as we turned up this way?" And I didn't see anything. I'm staring everywhere else, but so I didn't see it, and I don't believe Erik saw it either, or Raw. But we were like, Eric's like, "Well, I'm going to check my video. I was recording." So we're there, and I mean, almost instantly, he takes us to this structure, and it's a nice size structure. It's like a teepee type deal. And he starts showing us this. And again, I've never been Bigfoot hunting or anything like that before. So he starts showing this and explaining it to us. And he's explaining how the branches are twisted off and everything. And I'm looking at the ends, and I'm taking pictures of the ends of this. And none of them look hacked off. Nobody looks like they took a hatchet to it or anything like that. They look like the branches were actually twisted off of the stump of the tree. And I found that very interesting. And then I'm looking, and there's no stumps around there that would equal the amount of trees that I'm seeing there too. So he's just describing this to us and starting to explain it. And I believe Erik was asking, hey, do they sleep in this? And the guys, no, this is actually a structure to mark territory. And I found that interesting, and I could see that, so I wasn't doubting him. So we started moving a little bit away from that one, and we find a smaller one that looks just like that. And he's explaining to us that this is probably the adolescents and the young kids mimicking what their parents are doing and building the same type of structure. So I can get on board with that as well too. And as we're looking at that, and we're talking about the smaller structure now, and he's explaining about the adolescents, we weren't even there. I would say it's about 10 minutes in on my footage. We were there maybe 10, 15 minutes tops, when all of a sudden, with my own ears, I hear some type of groan. And I know Erik did, and almost the whole party did, because we all started to react at that moment, going, wow, did you just hear that? Thank God Erik actually picked it up on his audio. But it didn't sound like a bear or anything else. I like to check out and try to find different sounds of animals out there. But if I was going to say anything just off a hand here, I would have to say it sounded pretty damn close to a Bigfoot. It was absolutely amazing. That was just starting it out. And so we all were absolutely stunned. At that point, we kept going and started looking at more stuff.
Okay, Jeff, let me ask you a question, Jeff, because this is something that I thought about. I want to know if you thought about this. So when we heard that sound, to me, it sounded like that sound came from somewhere close by. It didn't sound like it was being projected from 100 yards or 100 feet away. Did it sound to you like it was just a low, like vibration, not even a growl, almost like a but didn't it seem like it was right in our area, that we should have been able to see it with our eyes? Did you get that impression?
Yes, and so I was actually right next to you, Erik. I was probably 5 feet, maybe the most away. That's why I'm surprised I didn't pick up the audio on my footage. I'm going to try to see if I can enhance it on my editing stuff. But to me, I felt like it seemed like that actually came from behind where me and you were standing. That's what it felt like to me. And to me, that energy, what it felt like that energy was and everything, it felt like somebody was upset that we were kind of in their territory, is what it sounded like to me. That's what I felt, that they weren't happy about it.
Yeah, or irritated. It sounded like an irritated, not like an angry, more like, oh, what the fuck are you guys doing here?
Yeah, like, get the hell out.
Yeah. Well, we got to go to a break, Gigi. We'll pick up more after the break if you want. It's 8:29.
Yes, we do. And so let's go ahead and do that now. Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to Shift Happens here for the Fringe FM. I'm your host, Gigi, along with our co-host, JP, and our associate producer, Brad Harris, and we're here tonight with Erik Awakening Man and Jeff Renel, getting into some real stuff here, folks. And we'll be back here in just a few short, minutely minutes. Don't go anywhere.
Are you thinking about creating a podcast but don't know where to start? Do you really want to have to learn all this stuff? Individual track processing, enhance and improve sound quality, edit out those awkward pauses and slips, mix multiple clips and tracks, fix and balance noise levels and perfect volumes, deliver consistent sound, live podcast production, show notes and SEO optimization, episode upload to hosting, live call screening, balance levels and loudness measure broadcast standards, full branding packages with logo design, podcast site, website, show artwork, video and audio production. Gotta do video because everybody's doing video, branded video graphics. Or do you just want to get on the mic and get your ideas out there? The Fringe FM team is here to help with all of your podcasting, audio and video production needs. From simple podcast audio enhancement, our professional production staff will make it easier than ever to create the podcast you desire.
The biggest thing is time. A lot of people that podcast don't have time. Time is like a really valuable currency next to cost. It's even more important than money. Why waste your time doing all this stuff? This is what we can do for you. Think about like the hours and the money you're gonna have to put into doing all this by yourself. Doesn't make sense. It's gonna take you months to launch. If we did it for you, we could do it tomorrow.
Visit thefringe.fm, join our team, and get jump started on your podcast today.
Everything is awesome. Everything is cool when you're part of a team.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
This is Jess Rogie, host of the Rogie Report, and you're listening to the Fringe FM, KTLK, Digital Broadcasting.
Hi, folks. These uncertain times can cause uncertain gut slowdown. Worry and fear can wreak havoc on our digestion, making it hard to feel optimum. Bloating, less energy, and occasional constipation can slow you down in your daily activity. Try Life Change Tea at GetTheTea.com. Life Change Tea can help get things moving so you can get that boost of energy you need. Life Change Tea helps protect and defend your health from intruders. It's a weird time right now with all the uncertainty, so gear up and defend your health. Where do you go to purchase? Log on to GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com. The specials are on the front page, and we have numerous supplements to help combat intruders. It's time to take charge of our health and to feel better in life. It's time to live. Again, GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com. GetTheTea.com. It is so worth it. GetTheTea.com.
I'm Dave Cruz of Beyond the Strange. You're listening to KTLK Digital Broadcasting. This is The Fringe FM.
Hey, is that a new music app?
Yeah, check it out. Surfer Music Discovery. It links to thousands of online stations, but the twist is you see the song names and artists that are now playing live.
That's different. No guessing. Looks like a waterfall of music.
So many formats. Rock, oldies, country, R&B, jazz, and a whole lot more.
How's that spelled?
Surfer. S-U-R-F-R.
Is it expensive?
It's free. No need to sign up or sign in.
Get the Surfer Music app free from Google Play or the App Store.
All right, hold on right there, caller. Hold on right there.
Hey, Fringe listeners, Dave Cruz here, reminding you that Beyond the Strange airs live Monday evenings at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 10 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on The Fringe FM. BTS, is your one-stop shop for the paranormal, the bizarre, and most of all, the strange. Join me and co-host Black Sky Paranormal's Russ Bailey as we discuss topics such as aliens, ghosts, Bigfoot, and much more. Also, we talk with profound guests, authors, researchers from all over the world, and we take your calls live on the air. Go to beyondthestrange.com and learn more about the show, guests, times, free registration for our newsletter, merch, and much more. Again, that's Beyond the Strange, Monday evenings, 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern, right here on KTLK Digital Broadcasting, The Fringe FM. And as always, stay strange.
KTLK Digital Broadcasting. We rock the paranormal talk.
This is Tom Sherman. Down here at Banning College, we're promoting a blood drop. Oh, shit.
Guilty. Welcome to the Sound in America. You're listening to AM 580. Lay back with the sheep. Little lamb. Little lamb. Little lamb. Little lamb. Little lamb. Little lamb.
Steve sold Adam the apple. Told me so to my face. Devil cannot be saved. Follow me and Good to know that he's walking with me. Big rock as a weapon. The devil is a black stone. True. Into the fog. Let him cast the first stone. Jesus. And you have fallen into the love that needs to be designed by the Lord. Hallelujah, y'all. I want to hear a couple of hallelujahs.
Ladies and gentlemen, for the Fringe FM, this is Shift Happens. I am your host, Gigi, along with our co-host, JP.
Oh, man. I'm excited. What's up?
You should be excited, my friend. We're also joined by our associate producer, Brad Harris.
That's right, baby. Bringing it.
Yes, and ladies and gentlemen, tonight we are joined by none other than Erik, Awakening Man, and our good friend Jeff Renel, and we are going to pick up right where we left off with that. But first, we have a little bit of an interruption here, folks. One of our homies over here, you may or may not know his name. You probably don't, but his name is Jimmy Church. And he's here right now for some reason. What's happening, my friend? Oh, boy. Something's not working. We can hear you a little bit.
Oh, shit.
We can hear you a little bit. Dude, I swear to God, they're all on the same channel. They're all on the same channel.
Oh no.
Oh no! What I mean is, that's nothing I can do over here. You know what I'm saying? Oh boy. Yeah, I wonder what this is.
I didn't catch any of that.
Well, I don't think anybody did. Yeah. No. Yeah, well, you know what? That's, you know what? Such a non-surprise. Yeah, no, we'll just have to kind of move on here, I guess. Unless, are you sure you're? Because I've got all these other 4 people on the same channel as you. You're the only one not coming in. Well, that's really weird. That's really weird.
I'm just messing with you, Gigi.
There it is. I hear him now.
Oh my goodness gracious!
Did you create all that drama on purpose, Jimmy? Did you just do all that on purpose?
Dude, I was about to hang up on you, dude.
Some major dead air time.
Jimmy, Gigi's rear end was puckered hard right now.
All right. Well, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome our friend here, Jimmy Church. He's now on the air. And,
if I have to sit through, 9.5 minutes of stoner jam, that was like the Grateful Dead meets Corrosion of Conformity swimming in a tank of molasses.
That's the worst thing anyone's ever said to me. That's fantastic, though. Yeah.
It did.
We actually had that conversation before the show started. But he's going to dump all this music. That's part of the deal.
Well, that is a thing. You're the first one to complain, though.
I'm not complaining. I just don't have enough pot to.
Well, let me tell you guys that Jimmy once told me that one of the best shows he's ever seen was the same band that he just complained about.
Corrosion of Conformity?
No, Queens of the Stone Age.
Oh, I didn't say Queens of the Stone Age.
But that's the song you complained about. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Let's move past this. Can we move past this?
Yeah.
All right, sure.
Why don't you just shut up, Gigi, and let Jimmy talk. Let him say something. I'm sure he's got something to say, so let's hear it.
Jesus Christ, Eric. All right, yeah, let's go ahead and well, first of all, what's up, Jimmy? What are you doing? It's kind of amazing because you do a lot of things all the time. You're filming, you're recording, you're here, you're there. So on a Friday night, what brings you to be able to come on such a show as this?
Tequila.
A lot of tequila, huh?
Tequila. I'm being straight up. Brad Harris called me up, and Brad said, Jimmy, tomorrow for your birthday, I will bring you 2 bottles of your favorite tequila. They cost $150 each. I'm going to bring 2 of them and gift you those if you'll come on with Gigi tonight. I said, no, wait a minute. No, that's not true. He said 1. And I said, no, I pass. And he said, okay, 2 bottles. I said, I'll give you 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So there's a price.
Okay,
story.
well, there you go. I didn't know you were bribed.
We
that's
have
all right,
4
though.
minutes left. You burned up 8 minutes with...
Exactly.
Damn,
Actually,
that was like 30 shots, man.
Dude, you burned up like 8 minutes from your being muted, my friend.
Okay, let me ask Jimmy a question because I haven't had a chance to ask Jimmy a question. I may not get a chance tomorrow night at his birthday party. But Jimmy, what was your take on the Bigfoot story, the blind frog, the light? What was your general take on what I told you on your show, and maybe what you've heard Jeff now and Raw? And have you seen Raw's YouTube video, by the way?
No, he sent it to me. I haven't seen it.
All right.
I haven't seen it.
Watch that because the clarity of his video is phenomenal, and way better than my Twitter posts by a long shot.
Yeah, I'll check it out. The
right.
thing is, what I think is most important to understand here, and Gigi brought up. Actually, Gigi asked a really, really good question, which is, how the frig do I have enough time to do anything at all these days? And I am thankful, I am humbled that I am in a position to not have enough time in the day for anything, right? And I'm thankful for that. I'm blessed that I have too much stuff to do. And so addressing Gigi's question, it leads me into yours. I haven't had enough time to check out Ra's video, and I know it's great, and I will get around to it. And you know, I think Ra's a very special guy. I think he's very, very smart, and if he's put the video together, and the word on the street is it's extremely clear, and I've already had a few comments about it. So I'm excited about it. I want to check it out, and I will, and then I'll be able to go for it. The thing is, going back to your question about Blind Frog, it's not just Blind Frog, but Blind Frog right now is a location that people are talking about. I understand that it's special. Its location and where it is next to Skinwalker is interesting, right? It's cool, but there are a lot of locations right now around the United States that the location in the southern United States, southeast. I don't want to give away specifically where it is. That Trey Hudson and his team are investigating has got all of the magic going on there too as well. So I think that all of it, and then we can move on from this. There's locations up in Washington. There's locations in Oregon. There's locations here in California. You know, take your pick. And then, you know, you have Sedona but those get visited all the time. And I think that there are places all around the country that are just as magical. Chaco Canyon is something that needs to really be looked at. It's remote, but it's right there. And you have the Serpent Mound and, you know, different locations. The Blue Mounds up in Wisconsin are very, very interesting. Brown County in southern Indiana, very interesting. The Smoky Mountains, the Brown Mountain Lights, that area needs to be continually investigated. There's a lot of magic going on right now. Blind Frog is right there, and I'm just happy that there isn't a dull moment in the paranormal, in the supernatural, in consciousness, in UFOs, Bigfoot. Yeah, there's never a dull moment. There is always something going on, and a Blind Frog is at the middle of it right now, Eric, and I'm excited.
Yeah, well, the Jimmy Church Magical Mystery Tour, and like we'll get the Scooby band all dialed in.
Yeah,
and I'll sell all the advertising, and I'll sell the sponsorships.
Yeah,
and we'll put that on there, and we'll do it. I'm not kidding.
I'm selling tacos out the back.
Hey, can I just add something to what
tacos
Jimmy
out
was
the
just
back.
saying?
Absolutely.
You know, with that Blind Frog area and stuff, it's that whole area right there. It's just not exclusive to the Skinwalker Ranch and Blind Frog Ranch. It's that whole area out there in the Uinta base of Utah,
which is
all the way from Duchesne all the way out to Bernal, Utah. It's absolutely amazing. I've seen a lot of different things happening
And
out there.
you know
And
what? Speaking of which, you know, Blind Frog, Skinwalker, what have you. Well, those two have you. Jimmy, I'm because you've interviewed everybody, right? You've heard all the things. I have a little bit of a theory. Are you ready?
You have a theory about how many people I've interviewed?
What? No, that's not what I said at all. No, what? No, okay. I have
just that.
No, that's
Bust
not
out the
what
theory,
I said
Gigi.
at all.
Bust it out.
Yeah, just
quickly.
Go to the theory. Let's not combine the two because you threw me off.
Jesus
I'm
Christ,
messing with
Jimmy.
Gigi
All right.
so bad.
All right.
Hey, all right. Now I'm going to tell a Gigi story.
Okay, let's do this now.
We'll get to your theory. We'll get to your theory.
Okay.
All right. This is the story is now infamous, and infamous is the opposite of famous. It's for all the wrong reasons. So we have this get together. Now this is 2021. So I'm guessing that this was around
2015.
14, 15, yeah,
14
in there
or 15, somewhere around there.
I don't even know how you remember it, Gigi. So
Well,
you
because
just
you
stay
said
right
21.
there, killer. Okay. So Gigi shows up, and we rented a frigging double wide trailer. I'm not making this up. We got a double wide trailer in the middle of the desert, and in the back of this double wide trailer is a couple of picnic tables, and we bring over there's probably 30, 40. I don't think we got to the number 50, but friends partying.
Probably about 30.
Crowd.
Yeah.
And Gigi is talking loud smack. Loud smack. He's walking around talking that smack. And he comes up next to me at the picnic table. I'm sitting there. I've got Fran to my left and an empty spot to my right. Gigi sits down with a bottle of vodka and 2 shot glasses. And he puts the bottle of vodka down and puts down the shot glass. And he's like, "Church!" yelling so everybody can hear him. "You say you can drink. Let's go." I said, "Gigi, little man, you need to stop right there before this goes any further. Are you sure you want... Oh, man, old man, you can't hang with the kids." And I said, "Gigi, you need to be real careful right now. Okay, you can back out of it." "No, man." And he sits down, and I said, "It's go time." And so in front of us now, there's probably a good dozen people that are standing there like this. This is good, man. This is gonna be real good. 20 minutes later, 20 minutes, Gigi was face down in a plate of food.
Is that true, Gigi? I didn't get to see that. Did that really happen?
It's relatively true.
Yes.
Oh, God.
We left him there.
Oh, Jesus. I would have paid money for that picture.
It's I'm kind of surprised you weren't there, Eric, because that was...
No, this was...
I don't think Eric was there, was he?
Ago it was. No, I think it was 2014. Anyway, but it was just hilarious. So I just got up and looked at Gigi and I said, "All right, little man." You just say, he's like...
You know what? You can forever hang, your hat over me for that. There's nothing I can do to undo that. But that is true, though. That is true. That's a true story.
It was fun. It was fun. But you can't mess. You can't. And this is the thing. I had fun and it was great. Fran next to me, we were doing fireballs after you passed out, and we just continued on. But that was the universe messing with you.
Yeah,
it's making sure that sometimes the young ones just got to be, But it was so much fun. Okay, so back to what's your theory, Gigi?
All right, so here's my theory, Jimmy. I have a few. If you watch the Skinwalker documentary that was done by Jeremy Corbell, right? Which think what you will about that. But when you go into the whole Nimitz program and everything they did and everything, one of the main quotes that I took away from that documentary was something along the lines of there were a lot of phenomenon and crazy things that happened here, but we could not connect them to any sort of UFO situations. Or in other words, the UFO cases do not seem to be related to the other, ascending through these portals in the middle of the air, the bulls being locked up in the container, those kind of things. They were not able to relate that in any meaningful way with $20 million. We're not able...
What's the theory, though? You laid the groundwork, but what's...
Yeah, exactly.
Jesus Christ. All
no,
right.
No, I'm saying...
Yeah, no. I'm ready. I'm ready.
He could go for an hour on
Here's
this
my
one.
theory. Everybody shush. All right.
Build the theory, Gigi, before we got to run the credits.
Yeah. We do have to run the credits. Yeah. But here's the theory, though. I have a feeling. The reason why there seems to be some sort of non-connection between the actual phenomena going there and the actual UFO stuff that you would think should be related, but even Nimitz said that they couldn't make a connection. I have a feeling that there is something inherently strange about Mother Earth, Gaia, whatever you want to call the Earth. Something is happening here that not only is Robert Bigelow interested in and is willing to get funds from Senator Reid and everybody else, right? They get all those funds and they do all those research, right? But also, I feel like some of these UFOs might be coming here for the same purpose. I feel like there's something inherently strange about the Earth that's happening in that location to where the UFOs are...
Okay, I have a theory.
But do you understand what I'm saying, though?
Yeah. Okay, well, let me respond to that before you guys roll credits and we have to drone on to some bong music. Is this...
Jesus Christ.
Maybe there isn't dick going on at Skinwalker.
That could be.
That's why Bigelow dumped the place and sold it. Because if it had everything going on, the indigenous spirituality, orbs, ghosts, entities, legless dogs with burning red eyes, Sasquatch out of portals, time travel, E.T. contact, all of the Disneyland of paranormal fun, why would you sell it? Bigelow doesn't need the money.
Well, what if he learned?
He sold it because there ain't nothing going on there. Now, there may be stuff going on in other locations.
Wait, hold on, though. Hold on. Well, why would he have stayed there for 20 years if there was nothing going on there? Like, really, nothing?
Oh, good question, Gigi. Good question.
Nothing? Are you sure? 20 years?
Why would you sell it?
Why would you not quit after 1 year?
Why would you sell it?
I think I've got you at a checkmate, sir.
No.
Can I pipe in there? Because one thing that Tom Dongo talks about Bradshaw Ranch is eventually it started to die down and the activity started to die down. And even George Knapp talked about that as well, too, as the activity at one point started to die down. So maybe the activity has just died down so much now that it isn't as interesting as it was before.
That's a great point.
But that's my point.
Oh.
So when you go back and you raise all of these issues, what's the connection? What this and conscious, and right now, Brandon Fugel and his team really doesn't. If anything broke, anything happened at Skinwalker, it would be on television. It would be in the TV show. It would be advertised. It would be talked about. And right now, there's nothing going on. I just feel that Bigelow dumped the place.
Dude, I don't know. Man. You know what? We're gonna have to have you on for a full 2 hours. And
you fill a whole case of tequila for that one.
Brad ain't got that kind of money, bro.
Dude, you said on your own show you would do it, but I've got because you made some pretty good points there, and I feel like I made one.
Gigi,
and
Gigi.
What?
Gigi, you're part of the family. Anytime you want me here, if my schedule is there, I'm here for you. Okay? You've got a beautiful family. You've got a beautiful mom and sister, and we've done a lot of hanging out over the years. And just keep doing what you're doing, man. Very proud of you.
Yeah,
all right?
and you know what? By the way, thank you, Jimmy, for first of all just taking your time to come on here, and then second of all, I love that you had Drew Banky on the other day. That was so awesome. I love that dude, and that was a great show, by the way.
Yeah, it was a great conversation. He's a good man. And there you go. I really appreciate that, Gigi. So, everybody, thank you so much. Very busy day tomorrow. Brad, I'll see you first thing in the morning. Awakening Man, I'll see you sometime in the afternoon. And
so I could come before 6, or do you want me to wait till 6, or I can come earlier than that?
That's about 8 hours too much of awakening, man.
All right, 6 o'clock. That's fine.
By the way, Sunset. Are we doing Sunset this year, or is that not a thing anymore?
Sunset. What's Sunset?
Sunset Bar and Grill.
Oh, the Rainbow on Sunset Boulevard.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were talking about a romantic walk on the beach like we used to do.
Well,
I miss those days.
We could do that too. That's always on the table.
You guys, I'll see everybody tomorrow. Eric, call me, and we'll get things arranged. Brad and Michelle, I'll see you tomorrow afternoon, and we'll be live streaming and we'll show everybody some action. But
one last thing, Jimmy, the gift you're going to get tomorrow it's probably going to shock you. Actually, I decided to go in another direction, and I just like the shock value of my gifts. So anyway, you're going to enjoy it. Let me just put it to you that way. It's going to shock you.
Lady and blow up.
It's some kind of powered chocolate edible infused with something called tropical pineapple madness. I already know.
Okay. All right, guys. I'll see you tomorrow.
All right. I'll see you guys. Everybody have a great night.
Have a great birthday.
Thanks, Jimmy. Cheers to you.
Bye.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Jimmy Church there from Fade to Black. There you go. And unfortunately, we didn't get to finish. Goodness, we had so much more to talk about. But you know what? There's only so much you can do in 2 hours. And I feel like we made the most of it. Did we not?
We did. We did for what we did. We hit it hard, I thought.
Absolutely. So with that, damn, we have to run right now. Jeff Renel from eTalk TV, eTalk.tv, and Erik Awakening Man from, Erik. You just know Erik.
Twitter.
That's how that works. And JP, Reperceptions. And what's your new website, JP?
PropertyOfMars.com.
PropertyOfMars.com.
I like it.
.com. And then, of course, Brad Harris here, our associate producer. Where can they follow you, Brad?
ADS, Brad Harris, Twitter. Thank you very much.
All right, and if you guys want to hang out for a little bit after the show, there you go. But otherwise, we are going to boogie on out of here right now. Ladies and gentlemen, this show has been hosted and produced by yours truly, Gigi, here at the Fringe FM. The show has been hosted and produced for the Fringe FM by yours truly. Also, special thanks to, everybody here, really. Jeff, Erik, Brad, our associate producer, JP, our co-host, and special thanks to Jimmy for making it look like he wasn't muted for a few minutes, even though he was, and having a great conversation there. And very good stuff. But for real, thanks for Jimmy for coming on. And with that, we are gonna get right the hell on out of here. Coming up next, right here for for the Fringe FM, is Lighting the Void with Joe Mother Bleepin' Root. Although he might be sick right now, actually. Now that I think about it, might be a replay. Don't take my word for it.
Build up.
Don't take my word for that huge build up. But also, all blames and faults go to Fran, #Fran's fault. All right, folks, we will see you next week with a very special show that I'm very excited about. You know what? I'm not going to give any spoilers, but it's going to be very good.
Next to Fran and Jimmy.
It's going to be very good next week, folks. All right, you guys take care. Have a great rest of your weekend, and we will see you guys next week. By the way, me and JP doing a show on Sunday. We'll let you know on Twitter. Follow us on Twitter or don't follow us at all. Cheers, folks.